Calling your radical hyperinflation explained, real simple like. This will only take a minute. I used to teach right there. It's the number one school of business in the United States. Now it's dead last. Hijacked by Warren Buffett, turned into supply chain usury. But when it was the number one school of business in the country, I taught there. Inflation. I remember standing right there in 2000. And he says, you never get it wrong, the CPI and the PPI number. I used to do them in front for the hedge fund that I worked for. And I said, I remember Kyle Matt says, you never get them wrong. And I says, you got it wrong. And I said, no, I didn't. He says, they lowered rates. This is the spring of 2000, March 10th, 2000, when the market capitulated. I'm like, I didn't get it wrong. Greenspan got it wrong. So the Fed was run here by the Eccles Fed. Volcker, who was an Eccles Fed, was about this tall. So changed. Remember when he raised the interest rate to 14% in the 80s? It was painful. Boy, did it work. Masterful move. I mean, talk about a happy time through the 90s. Absolutely no inflation, freaking surplus. So it's real simple, kids. This is how it works. It's called inflate your way out. When things are economically a little slow, you inflate your way out, right? Mariner Eccles? So I knew Mariner personally, the Eccles Fed. And so as you put more liquidity into the market, it raises prices of everything. They started doing that in 2000 to the point now that it's so out of control and insane. They dumped $5 trillion. Well, just stolen. They just threw it out the PP. It's being reported now. These PP loans is the biggest fraud in American history, as reported by Kevin Blanch. Out of control. You dump $5 trillion into liquidity in 2 years. It's called inflate your. What do you think is going to happen? That's how it's simple. Ayn Rand Greenspan. The more liquidity dumped into the market, which is debt. How much debt have we dumped into the market in 22 years? Well, let's see. In 2011, when Fukushima happened, the debt was under 13 trillion. It's 30 trillion? What was it in 2000? 99. 3 trillion. What? It's 30 trillion, $27 trillion. It's called inflate your way out. Ayn Rand Greenspan. You know, stocks inflated. What happens when hyperinflation happens? Homeless. Which I used to give my lecture. It'll create a homeless situation. It'll cause hyperinflation. It'll cause poverty. You think? So it's really that simple. You inflated our way out for 20-something years into a freaking hyperinflation freak show. It's real simple. 87 when he took over, Ayn Rand Greenspan. If I thought Ayn Rand was a free marketer. She was Russian, wasn't she, from Ukraine? So it's the opposite. Up is down, black is white. I thought it was the fiscally responsible Republicans. Remember that? I thought it was the party of labor and environment Democrats. Now it's the two parties of imperialism and war. Oh my God. 9/11, the gift that keeps on giving. I was teaching right here when 9/11 happened. And I had Saudis in my class, lots of them. And I taught the derivative arbitrage trading class in the number one school of business. I taught it right there. It's an arguable fact. I taught it. I was a student professor. And I remember Kyle Madsen, who's dead now. He came to me. You know, I used to fly in Bill Child's Learjet back to the Berkshire Hathaway, and I was having a fit. No, because he wanted to develop a supply chain with Bill Childs when he bought R.C. Willey. And I'm like, no. You know, I fought him tooth and nail, but they got it and ruined the school. But it's amazing to me. He says, you know, they bought puts on the, yeah, I'm one of the first guys that identified it. You know, CIA had a talk with me. I'm like, Kevin, you know, remember, this was the number one school of business in the United States. You don't think we had elite students here? I graduated Mikado himself and his sister. Japanese royals. Yeah, it's an unarguable fact. They blackballed me. You think you probably taught them how? I might have. To buy the puts, it's very possible. I want to show you something as far as the drought goes. This is all over Utah this year. Have you ever seen that in your life? The leaves never fell off the trees. I mowed my lawn on Christmas here. This is northern Utah. The leaves I've never seen it. It's all over. The leaves never fell off. The tree's not dead. The leaves never fell off the trees. It's not dead. See? See how it's blooming? See the new growth? It's not dead. Never seen it in my life. It's all over Utah. Those ones died. See those pines across there? I'm not sure. Some of them did, some of them didn't, but these are not dead. I've never seen it. Never. Oh, it's crazy. So there's your inflation explained. Real simple. Ayn Rand Greenspan in the first quarter of 2000 started slashing the rate when he should have been raising it. The natural rate, we call it the rule of doubling. The historical natural rate is what, 7-point-something% to force you into the markets. And they've done it for 22 years. It's always one excuse after another. 9/11 then happened. They went really crazy. Then, of course, Afghanistan, Iraq. I mean, it's always one thing after another. The banking crisis of 2008, too big to fail, too big to jail. It's always one perpetual nightmare after, and they've created the greatest hyperinflation bubble in world history. And it's global. It's all over, and you can blame really one person. Ayn Rand Greenspan. And everybody's gone along. It's disgusting, the Fed. Oh, we're thinking about raising rates. Fuck, the rate, if you naturally let it float to 7%, you think about this. You got a whole generation that has done nothing over that 2, 1, 3, 0% interest rate. It's unbelievable. It's that simple. Here's the irony book of the day. As Russia's crying foul now because Ukraine says, Russia's Minister of Defense is crying foul today, saying that they bombed a non-military thing inside Russia. No, a country can invade you and you go crazy. I mean, this country got invaded. I mean, by Saudi Arabians. The 20th bomber from Gitmo is back in Saudi Arabia. They're going to build a $6 billion war profiteer prison to house 58 people. What? Yeah. 20 if you count him. 16 of the 19 bombers were Saudis. So we invaded Afghanistan. Okay, even if you believe the Ben Lomond fairy tale, I thought we got him in 2011, the same month Fukushima happened. What about that one? What about that one? Nightmare. It's being reported now. Oh, as I reported right here, the night that we went into the Big Z, well, Russia went in. They all get cancer. Now, these guys are spinning it now. They're dying of cancer. They got